بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And this trade of theirs, it has not benefited them at all. This is tabsharah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a commentary from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ اشْتَرَوُا الضَّلَالَةَ بِالْهُدَىٰ فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. And they are not going to reach the destiny. They cannot have now the guidance, because they have gone very far on this path of nifaq and munafiqah. Masaluhum kamasalil ladhi istawqada nara. Now there are two similes here, and there are two opinions. One opinion is that both these similes are regarding this third category, the in-between people, neither this side nor this side. Muzabzabina baina zalik. Neither the believers nor opposing, apparently or openly, in between. And both the parables or both these similitudes, they are about these very people. Some are very deep in this quality of hypocrisy and some are shallow. But the opinion which I hold, and I agree with the people who think that way, that is that the first simile is for the kuffar and the second simile is for the munafiqeen. For the kuffar, we read these ayat, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. For them now there is a similitude. مَثَلُهُمْ كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي اسْتَوْقَدَ نَارًا. Their likeness is as the likeness of one who kindled a fire. Now this is actually a situation which you can imagine commonly happened to the Arab people when they used to travel in the desert. Now a caravan is traveling during the night. And they used to travel during the night, mostly, because the days were very hot. One couldn't travel in the daytime. And it did sometime happen that they lost the way. And darkness. And in that darkness, somebody takes the courage, gathers some timber, and then kindles a fire. Now they can see where they are. They whereabouts. Where are we? But at this moment, something happens to a group of people that their sight is gone. So they are again in the darkness. Before that fire, there was darkness outside, although their own sights were intact. But now, the environment, the surroundings are enlightened, but their sight is gone. So they are again in the darkness. This is the position of those. Actually, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kindled the fire and light of hidayah. But there were certain people who, out of jealousy, out of their haughtiness, they didn't like to see the light of the day. So actually, their sight was taken away by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now they are groping in the darkness. Summun bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. This is the likeness of the people of the second group. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. مَثَلُهُمْ كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي اسْتَوْقَدَ نَارًا. Their likeness is to the likeness of a one person who kindled a fire. فَلَمَّا أَضَاءَتْ مَا حَوْلَهُ. And when it lighted all around him, ذَهَبَ اللَّهُ بِنُورِهِمْ. Allah took away their sights. وَتَرَكَهُمْ فِي ظُلُمَاتٍ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. And now left them in the darknesses, they cannot see anything. Summun bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. They are deaf, they are dumb, they are blind, and they are not going to return. Don't hope, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or you, O Muslim, that any one of them will ever return to the path of Allah. Because now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken away their sights. خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ غِشَاوَةٌ. So I think that this simile is for that group. And for the munafiqeen of second simile. أَوْ كَسَيِّبٍ مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ. Or the similitude of a rainstorm. فِيهِ ظُلُمَاتٌ وَرَعْدٌ وَبَرْقٌ. There is a rainstorm from the sky, wherein there is darkness and thunder and lightning. يَجْعَلُونَ أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ مِنَ الصَّوَاعِقِ حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ. They are putting their fingers in their ears, saving themselves from death due to the stunning thunderclap. They think that the sound will take their hearing away and then maybe they die out of it. يَجْعَلُونَ أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ مِنَ الصَّوَاعِقِ حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ وَاللَّهُ مُحِيطٌ بِالْكَافِرِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already encompassed and encircled these kuffar. Where can they go? They are within the grip of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cannot go anywhere. They cannot run away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَكَادُ الْبَرْقُ يَخْطَفُ أَبْصَارَهُم. The lightning almost is near to snatch their sights. كُلَّمَا أَضَاءَ لَهُم مَشَوْا فِيهِ. Whenever there is some light, they can see something. They have seen the environment. They start going in the direction. مَشَوْا فِيهِ. They walk a few steps. وَإِذَا أَظْلَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ قَامُوا. And when there is darkness upon them, they stand. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَذَهَبَ بِسَمْعِهِمْ وَأَبْصَارِهِمْ. And had Allah decided or decreed, He would have taken away from them their sight and hearing both. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَىٰ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all powerful. He has all authority. He can do anything He likes. Now just have some thought about this simile. You know, whenever there is some revolutionary dawah, revolutionary movement, there are difficulties. You are called to do your duties in face of difficulties and risks. There are risks of life, risks of wealth. Now you may have to suffer, and you may have to give up your careers. You may have to give up and wind up your businesses. That has been the requirement of every revolutionary struggle. Now these people who are in between, they are belonging to the category who want to do something but without any harm to themselves. They don't want to take any risk to their life, their wealth, their property, and so on. So what happens? Whenever during the movement, there comes a time when there is no immediate risk. There is no call to go to war, for example, during the Madani period. Whenever there was a call to go to war for any battle, then they were in a very big trouble. How to save themselves, how to apologize, how to get leave from that. But whenever all the conditions are normal, then they can walk with the Muslims, and they join the Muslims in congregations. They talk loudly about their Islam and Iman. They make tall claims about their sincerity. But when there is a difficult time, time of trial and tribulation, they go down and their courage is gone. So this is the condition of those people about whom the description we have already seen. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. There are from among people who claim that they are Mu'mins. They believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they believe in the life hereafter, in the day of judgment. But actually they don't believe. It's a superficial claim that they are making. It's only a verbal attestation that they are doing. Or they are making total false claim. They are like the Jews. So this description fits both of them. And they were in close association with each other. Actually, this munafiqat and munafiqeen, they were like an undergrowth. There are big trees. Under those big trees, there is the undergrowth which we call bushes. So these munafiqeen were like the undergrowth of the Jews. They were the established people, 3 established tribes. They were very influential. They were very wealthy. They were educated people. They had the book, they had the law, they had Torah, they had learned people within them. So actually this third category was an undergrowth under that Jews, and this is the description of this character. And when we generalize it, always with every revolutionary call and movement, you will find 3 types of people. People who accept the call at its face value. And then they die for it, they live for it. They take every risk for it. They are ready to sacrifice their all belongings, even their lives. People who are opposed to it, tooth and nail, openly. Because they are the people whose vested interests are threatened by the revolutionary party or the revolutionary dawah. They oppose it tooth and nail. And there is always a third group which likes that something good should happen. But they are not ready to sacrifice anything for that. They want to play safe. There is a very important and very beautiful similitude. In Surah Al-Hajj there is an ayah, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ Man ya'budullah ala harfin. There are from among people who want to worship Allah, but keeping themselves on the sides. They don't want to plunge the main current. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. If there is khair, if there is safety, if there is all the sureties and everything is okay, اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. He is also satisfied. He is also with the mu'mineen. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ انْقَلَبَ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. And whenever there is some trial, tribulation, when there is a period of testing, when there is a call for sacrifice, for spending for the cause of Allah, a call for going to the battlefield for the cause of Allah, انقلب على وجهه, they fall down on their faces. خسر الدنيا والآخرة. This is actually the real loss of this world also, and real loss of the Akhirah. ذلك هو الخسران المبين. And this is the real loss, this is the real danger to which a man is putting himself. So that is actually the description of this. Let me give you the introduction to the third and fourth sections. These two sections of this surah, as I told you in the beginning, they give you a gist and a summary of the call of Quran. What's the call of Quran? Number one. And number two, the basic philosophy of Quran. All these subjects have been discussed in detail in the Makki surahs. But as I told you, that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed a Madani surah in the very beginning of the Mus'haf, the gist and summary of that Makki Quran is given here in two sections. Very important. What's the basic call of Quran? That we will find in the third section, third ruku. What's the basic philosophy of Quran? What's the position of man in this universe? On what basis that position has been given to him? And what is the struggle of evil and good that is going on throughout the history? The struggle within a man, within the personality. There is a struggle always going on within our personalities between good and evil. Something is taking us towards evil and something wants to take us towards good, towards virtue. This is a struggle. A war is going on in the inner battlefield of our personalities. And there is a war going on the outside world. There is the philosophy of history of Quran, that this is a struggle between the forces of evil and forces of virtue and good. The forces of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on one side and the forces of shaitan on the other side. Dunya ko hai phir maar ka ruh badan pesh. So that struggle is going on. Satida kar raha hai azal se ta imroz, chirag mustafavi se sharare bulahbi. First of all, ya ayyuhan nas, note that this call is to the whole of humanity. Ya ayyuhan nas. We must note in the Makki surahs, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the history of most of the messengers of Allah, we find the words Ya qawmi ibudullah, O my people, O my nation, be obedient to Allah, serve Allah, be bondsmen to Allah. But this is the distinction between the message of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the message of the former messengers. That was directed to their nations only. And this message is addressed to the whole of humanity. Ya ayyuhan nasu ubudu rabbakum. Ibadah. Obedience with love. Both things must be together to convey the sense of ibadah. Total obedience to someone out of extreme love for him. If the obedience is not out of love, it's due to some pressure, then it's obedience only, not ibadah. If a nation conquers another nation, that conquered nation is obedient to the conqueror, but they are not doing ibadah to them. The ibadah is when the obedience is total, number one, and it is from the depths of the hearts, out of extreme love for someone. So if someone loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the depth of his heart, and as a result of that love, he obeys him in all the aspects of his life, then he is doing the ibadah. He is fulfilling the purpose of his creation. Because this subject has been very extensively discussed in the Makki surahs. In Surah Zariyat we find وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created men and jinns except only to obey me, to worship me, to love me, to be bondsmen to me, to serve me. This is the sole purpose of the creation of the jinns as well as the humans. And we find that all the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they conveyed the same message to their nations. Ya qawmi ibudullah, ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh. All the messengers. This was the common call of all the messengers. That is the call of Quran. The same is the call of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The only difference is that they were addressing their nations only, and this prophecy of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is universal to the whole of humanity. But the essence is the same. Ubudullah. Be bondsmen to Allah, obey Allah in all aspects of your life, individual as well as collective. Every aspect of life should be governed by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allazi khalaqakum. Who has created you? He is your creator. He is your Rabb, your sustainer. Ubudu Rabbakum. Be bondsmen to your sustainer, to your master, to your Lord. Allazi khalaqakum. And not only that He is your sustainer, He is your creator. وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And He created those also who were before you. Because people generally tend to follow their forefathers. Because our forefathers believed in such things, we also believe in such things. Because our forefathers were doing like that, we are also doing like that. We have to follow our forefathers. No. They were also created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just as you are the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were also the creatures. If you can commit mistakes, they could also commit mistakes. So not to follow them, but you follow the directions of Allah, the guidance given to you by your Lord, your Master, your Sustainer, your Creator. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. The same word again, taqwa. So that you may become pious, you may become God-fearing. No. So that you can save yourself. Save yourself from the displeasure of Allah. Save yourself from the punishment on the Day of Judgment. Save yourself from the fire of hell. الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ. Who is that Allah about whom you are required to obey and to be bondsmen? He is He, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا, who made this earth for you as a resting place, just as a bedding. First. So He has made this earth for you as a bedding. وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً. And then He raised the canopy of sky over you. وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. And He sent down water, rain from the sky. فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ. And then He created from the earth, brought out from the earth, مِنَ السَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ. The provisions for you in the form of the fruits and the grains. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. So don't declare, don't accept with Allah anyone as rival, as equal. Nobody is equal to Allah. Nobody is like Allah. Nobody is rival to Allah. The bondsman, you have to be for Him only, nobody else. All humans are equal. Kunu ibadallahi akhwana. You should be all bondsmen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and brothers to each other. Wa antum ta'lamoon. At least you don't do it knowingly. Maybe a person is mistaken, and mistakenly he is doing something, that is something else. But knowingly, intentively, with intentions at least, you shouldn't do it. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ. Now we find in these two ayat the essences of Tawheed. Don't declare or accept anybody, anything equal to Allah, rival to Allah. This is Tawheed. And the Amali Tawheed, the practical Tawheed, be bondsmen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obey Him, worship Him, love Him, and serve Him from the depths of your heart. This is the basic call of the Quran. Now the second article of faith is Risala, messengerhood, prophethood. And about the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, now we find these two ayat. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا. If you are really in some doubt about that thing which we have sent down on our bondsman, on our servant Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if you are doubtful about it, if you think that maybe that he is composing these surahs himself, and he is saying that these have been revealed to me from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have any doubts, if you have real doubt, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ. Then you also can produce, if you can, try to produce one surah like this Quran. I am keeping the word same, one surah, min mislihi, like the surahs of Quran. And as you know, the surahs are very small also. There are 3 surahs comprising of 3 ayat only. So the challenge goes to that extent. If you can comprise and compose a surah consisting of 3 ayat only, and if you can claim that this is equal to Quran, this is like Quran, this is at the same level of literary level as that of Quran, then you know you will have some right to doubt the authenticity of Quran, whether Muhammad is himself composing them or actually they have been revealed to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And you call all your witnesses and helpers, except Allah. Except Allah, all the jinns, because there were kahins among them, and they had the jinns with them, so they could also get the help from the jinns. Then they had the very big orators in Arabia. Then the poets, they were very proud about their literature, about their poetry. They thought we are the biggest orators. So you call all the people whom you can call. In kuntum sadiqeen, if you are really true, if you are truthful, what does it mean? It means that you really don't doubt it. It's only, you saw, an explanation that you are giving forth. It's nothing. You really don't doubt that this is not the kalam of Allah. Your hearts have accepted that this cannot be composed, this Quran, by any human being. It's only your verbal argument that you are presenting. Otherwise, lame excuses that you are presenting. Otherwise, you don't actually believe from the depth of your heart that this is from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why Quran says, "In kuntum sadiqeen." If you are true in your objection, in your doubts, then come and have, then try to compose one surah, even one surah, or like the surah of Quran. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا. And then if you can't do it, if you don't do it, وَلَنْ تَفْعَلُوا. This is very important. The emphasis, the confidence with which Quran is saying, you will never be able to do it. It's a miracle in itself. That nobody challenged that we have some poet amongst us who can compose 3 lines just like Surah Al-Asr or Surah Al-Nasr or Surah Al-Kawthar. Nobody challenged. Nobody came forward to accept this challenge of the Quran. And Quran says it preemptively. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَمْ تَفْعَلُوا. And if you don't do it, if you don't accept the challenge, if you don't try to produce something like Quran, and you will never be able to do it, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Then you should try to save yourself. Be fearful of the fire of hell, whose fuel would be men as well as stones. Why stones? Because they used to worship, their idols were made out of stone. When you will be thrown in the fire of hell, these idols, these gods of yours, they will also be thrown with you in the same fire of hell. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ وَعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. And that has been prepared for the disbelievers. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Now, in addition to the Iman bil Risalah, there we find now Iman bil Akhirah. Because this Jahannam, fire of hell, it's a matter concerning Akhirah. When the mention of hell came, now side by side, the mention of Jannah, the mention of heaven is also coming. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. And O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, give good tidings to those who come to believe, and then they perform good deeds. أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ. That for them there are those gardens underneath which rivers will be flowing. كُلَّمَا رُزِقُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ ثَمَرَةٍ رِزْقًا. Whenever they will be given some fruit of that garden for their food, قَالُوا هَذَا الَّذِي رُزِقْنَا مِنْ قَبْلُ. They will say, this is the same thing that we were being given before this. Then what does it mean? that the fruit of Jannah, fruit of heaven, will be in form and shape. They will be like the fruit of this world. The grapes of this world, the pomegranate of this world, all these things, the dates of this world. But the taste of these very fruits of Jannah will be absolutely different. No comparison. Utubihi mutashabiha. They will be given things which will be compared to each other, resembling each other. وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا أَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. And for them there will be wives, or some people have translated spouses. Wives for men, husbands for women. There will be spouses, mutahharatun, who will be free from all evil. Mutahharatun wahum fiha khalidun, and they will remain in them forever, forever, everlasting. Now these are the three articles of faith to which Quran is calling. This is the basic call of the Quran. Have belief in Allah and His oneness, unity of Allah, and obey Him from the depths of your heart in all aspects of your life. Believe in Quran, believe in the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his biggest miracle is Quran. And if you have any doubts, well, accept the challenge of Quran. Come and compose even one surah just like Quran. And if you can't do it, and you will not be able to do it, so then you should fear the fire of hell. And there is the good tidings for those who believe in Allah and they do good deeds. Inna Allah la yastahi an yadriba masalan ma ba'udatan fama fawqaha. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not ashamed to set forth a parable, even of a mosquito. When you have to give a parable or a simile, actually it doesn't matter with what thing you are comparing anything. There should be some similarity, some resemblance, because always a similitude or a parable is given to explain something with relation to some another thing which is known already to a person. So there should be a connection, logical relationship between the two. Not that something should be great. If you are going to give an example for something great, then something great is to be mentioned. If you are going to give an example for something which is very small, then something small is to be mentioned. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not ashamed of giving examples even of mosquitoes. What to speak of something more if it is greater or smaller than that thing. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, why this has been discussed? Because all these things, the punishments in heaven and what are the blessings, the punishments in the hell and the blessings of heaven, wordings are the same which we use here. Nar, fire. But that fire of hell is not like the fire of this world. There is no comparison. In the same way, the things which we know here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the names of the Jannah also in the same way. But there is a world of difference between the essence of both the things. Names are the same. So these are, so to say, similitudes. These are parables. Inna Allah la yastahi an yadriba masalan ma ba'udatan fama fawqaha famma alladhina amanu fayalamuna annahu al-haqqu min rabbihim. So those people who believe, they know, they come to know for sure that this is haqq, this is true from their Lord, because it is actually within human beings, their root, their spirit, which testifies that this thing is correct. So amma allazina amanu fayalamuna annahu al-haqqu min rabbihim. They don't see that what words are being used in a simile. They look to the essence of that simile or similitude, and then they immediately come to the conclusion that verily it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَيَقُولُونَ مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا. And those who have denied, who have refused to accept, who have declared to be kuffar, they say, they object to it. مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا. What has Allah intended by this parable or by this similitude? يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. It is in this way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides many people towards right and misguides others towards wrong. يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا. With this very Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misleads many people according to their intentions, because their intentions were not pure. From these parables of the Quran also, they get misguided. Instead of getting the guidance to the right path, they are misguided. They add to their misguidance from Quran also, because their intentions were not correct. And this is explained in the next ayah. وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. And but those people whose intentions are correct, who are muttaqeen, who want to save themselves from wrong and error and falsehood, and who want to save themselves from the fire of hell, they get the guidance from this Quran. وَمَا يُضِلُّ بِهِ إِلَّا الْفَاسِقِينَ. And Allah doesn't mislead or misguide except those who are rebellious in nature. Fisk means a rebellious nature. Who are in rebellion against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only them Allah misguides. As I said, it is based on the intentions, their own inclinations. If the inclination is bad, towards wrong, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mislead him. If the intention is correct, if he is sincere in his intention, then Allah will guide him. Who are those fasiqeen? The rebellious people, disobedient people. الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ عَهْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مِيثَاقِهِ. Who break Allah's covenant after accepting that. That covenant will be discussed in Surah Al-Araf. That when we were in the form of spirits only, or you may call souls only, there were no bodies. Allah created all human beings, but in the form of spirits only. And from those about which the Prophet has said in one of the ahadith, Al-Arwahu Junudul Mujannada. Those spirits were like armies, all the human beings which were to come in this world till the doomsday. The spirits of all were created at one time. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a covenant from them. Alastu bi rabbikum? Qalu bala. It will be discussed in Surah Al-Araf. Am I not your Lord, your Master? And they said, yes, why not? We accept you as our Lord, our Sustainer, our Master. This covenant every human being has done and confirmed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has ratified with him this treaty before coming to this world. So actually, those people who are rebelling against that covenant,